The first ever perfect speedrun of Splatoon 1 just happened. Now this wasn't performed in one full speedrun by an individual player, instead this is what's called a BTT. BTT stands for Best Theoretical Time, and it's used to show what peak speedrunning performance would look like. This is done by splitting the game into individual segments that then get spliced together in an editing software to make it look like one continuous speedrun. In total, there are 116 segments, played out by 9 speedrunners, each one grinding it out to near perfection. This speedrun is not meant to compete on leaderboards, it's meant for entertainment and helping speedrunners see how they can improve their world records. This BTT is for Splatoon's New Game Plus category. This speedrun is played from a completed file with every single level unlocked and every upgrade obtained. And the goal is to beat every level in whatever order you want. Now that I've explained all of that, this is the perfect Splatoon speedrun explained. One thing to note about the BTT is that a lot of it is just clean and optimized movement, so I won't be going in depth on all of that. Instead, I'll be going over some of the craziest tricks, skips, and tricky segments so that you can understand how tough this speedrun is. One of the hardest levels is level 1-1 because of a trick so hard that it isn't even attempted in full game runs called Ledge Wall Jump. At the beginning of the level, you can paint this wall to the right, then use this small ledge to swim up like it's a wall to just barely make it to the wall above. This skips having to go around the normal way. You have just a few frames to time your jump to get this skip to work, all to save 1 second. At the end of 1-2, you usually have to use the cannon to scale the wall, but by using just a couple of burst bombs, speedrunners can beat the level without the cannon. This is called cannonless. This trick is used in regular any % speedruns, but since you can have fully upgraded burst bombs in this speedrun, it makes the trick faster and easier. Octostomp is the first of the 5 bosses speedrunners will have to beat in the speedrun. This is the perfect time to talk about a crucial technique that will be used throughout the run. The rapid fire glitch. Every time you switch sub-weapons on the D-pad, the game will fire an extra pellet from your main weapon. By mashing the D-pad, you can shred bosses in seconds. This technique is harder in New Game Plus because the maxed out hero shot already has a high fire rate, but you can sneak in a couple of extra shots with good enough mashing. There's another form of cannonless on 2-5. At the end section, you can use burst bombs on top of each sponge to get across safely. Speedrunners have to time a burst bomb on top of each sponge to avoid having to slowly climb up them. Each burst bomb throw has to be precise or else you'll fall into the void and die. One of the most interesting glitches happens in 2-8. This is Octoling glitch. Octolings are Rotarian versions of the player Inklings, and therefore a lot of their code is similar to the player, including the fact that if an Octoling touches the Zapfish to finish the stage, then the game will think that you beat it. This usually would never happen under normal gameplay since Octarians are never near Zapfish, but if you use a Splat Bomb to open up the Zapfish, then this Octoling who is programmed to fly across the stage will hit the Zapfish and complete the level for you. Now it's time for 3 of the most difficult tricks in the run: Fugo Skip, Messiah Skip, and Gusher Jump. Let's talk about Fugo Skip first. Level 3-10 is laid out in a way to where if you can make it to the structure, then you can activate the ink rail with a burst bomb to skip the whole level. But you quickly find that just jumping towards it won't help. You need some assistance. Luckily we have our friend Dave the Octarian to help give us that boost. By using a setup to align ourselves with the structure, we can jump and have Dave shoot at us, giving us that extra momentum to just barely make it over to the other side. From there, we can beat the whole level. The BTT doesn't use any form of setup for this trick. Instead, they do the faster YOLO Fugo Skip, where they just go for the jump and hope that Dave shoots at them. No one would ever go for this in a full game run because of how lucky you have to be for it to work, but this does save 3 seconds. Messiah Skip happens in the level directly after this. Usually you'd have to go on this side quest to get a key to unlock a lockbox to get further in the level, but just like Ledge Wall Jump, you can use the ledge of this grate to boost ourselves onto this metal pole to skip getting the key. And the last trick of this 3-peat of difficult jumps is Gusher Jump. If you time a jump on the last few frames of a gusher going up, then you will carry some of that momentum and get a higher jump. We can use this to get to the high ground early and skip going around. These 3 skips together are a marathon of pure agony. If you watch a regular New Game Plus run, then you'll see speedrunners start with these 3 levels to get them out of the way early. The Lesser World 3 features some of the tightest movement in any Splatoon speedrun, including this moment in 3-13 where there's only a few pixels to climb up the wall. 5-24 is what we call a cycle level. Cycles are a speedrunning term to describe a repeating cycle that runners need to catch at a certain time in order to either save time or not lose time. Now, there have been plenty of cycle levels shown off earlier in the speedrun, but none of them come close to the difficulty of the 5-24 Scream cycle. If you go fast enough in this level, you can make it to this windmill 1 cycle earlier than normal. In full game 80% runs, this is only reserved for the top level of gameplay, but in New Game Plus, this cycle is pretty easy. 5-23 has this BTT only strategy near the middle of the level. You can take this tight jump to the balloon in the middle to save a second from going to the sponge on the left. This looks trivially easy, but you only have a few pixels to make the jump. At the end, you're usually supposed to have a long drawn out fight between 2 Octolings, but we can manipulate where each one will spawn if we go down the right side and throw a splat bomb to the top left of the map. This will kill the Octoling the moment they touch the ground. Then the next Octoling will spawn right next to us 100% of the time, making this usually annoying section trivial. 5-22 has another near frame perfect trick, the Great Bounce. Usually you'd have to wait for these blocks to go into formation before you can use the super jump pad, but if you time a squid and unsquid perfectly, you can get an extra bounce to just barely get you to the super jump pad. At the end of 4-21, speedrunners use the rapid fire glitch with the Inkzooka to get an absurd amount of shots. The Octostriker has to glide perfectly towards you for this to work, which is really rare and speedrunners don't know why it's inconsistent. Octomore is one of the most impressive levels in the run. Usually you have to slowly shoot out each of his teeth in order to attack him, but with the rapid fire glitch, speedrunners can remove all his teeth in a matter of seconds. Just like the dentist who told me that Skittles original fruit was not suitable for a balanced diet, and then had to remove 32 cavities. 4-16 has one of the hardest strategies in the speedrun. In the water ride checkpoint, you must hit the fan in such a way that it moves as little as possible, so it gets back to the other side quicker. They shoot the fan as early as possible so it travels a shorter distance towards you. Not only is doing these shots hard, but making the jump is even harder. 4-19 is a level designed around cycles. Every single platform is moving, so if you're too slow then you'll miss a cycle and lose time. The BTT shows off how tight your movement has to be to catch each cycle. They often have to make pixel perfect jumps just to catch the best cycle possible. Now it's time for the final boss, DJ Octavio. Octavio is the most complex level in the run. Not only is it the longest, but you have to plan out what to do in each of his 5 phases. You might think that speedrunners will simply do the rapid fire glitch on each one of his attacks, but that is wrong. While yes, there is a lot of rapid fire glitch, speedrunners will also do what's called normals and delays. Normals are where you tap the fist twice with your gun, then shoot it normally. This will do a set amount of knockback. This is the same as a delay. If the fist is far away, then it's useful to use a burst bomb to slow down the fist and let it hit Octavio as late as possible. If a fist hits Octavio while his machine is green, then the fist will do full damage. Normals and delays help speedrunners get Octavio into a position to do fist skips. If you can do enough knockback to Octavio, then it will skip doing another set of fists and then go straight to his subwoofer attack. Each phase ends off with subwoofer tennis, where you use the rapid fire glitch to shoot the subwoofer back to Octavio in record time. By using rapid fire glitch, normals, delays, and fist skips, speedrunners are able to beat Octavio in just over 6 minutes. And just like that, the best theoretical time for humans is 45 minutes and 25 seconds, saving over 1.5 minutes over the world record. But this doesn't have to be the true limit. Speedrunners will eventually sharpen their movement even more, find new tricks, and push this time down to places no one could ever imagine. But if you want to see how Octavio ruins Splatoon 2 speedrunning, click this video right here.